Good night, good night. I'm a legal man. He's a man will walk, but never run. Let's make it, man, as someone said. There's nothing you can do in New York. There's more than come back here to make a man. There's more than a license for a gun. Confront your enemies, avoid them when you can. A gentleman will walk, but never run. If manners make it man, and someone said he's a hero of the day. It takes a man to suffer ignorance and strive. Be yourself, no matter what they say. We know you sing a whole. Oh, I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York. Oh, I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York. Englishman in New York City. I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York. Englishman in New York. Oh, I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York.
Now, growing up in the 90s, I would have loved these songs. I'm sure those of you that know them will love them as well. So we got two songs coming up for you. We got I Wanna Know by Joe and Someone to Love by John B. and Babyface. Hope you guys enjoy.
It's amazing how you knock me off my feet. Every time you come around me, I get weak. Oh. Nobody ever made me feel this way. No. You kiss my lips and then you take my breath away. So I wanna know what turns you on. Yeah, I wanna know. So I can be all that and more. And I'd like to know what makes you cry. Oh, so I can be the one to always make you smile. Girl, he never understood what you were with. No. And he never took the time to make it worse. Deserve more loving, girl. Baby, I'm the kind of man who shows consent. Yes, I do. Any way that I can please you, let me learn. So I wanna know what turns you on. Yeah, and I wanna know so I can be all that and more. And I'd like to know.
Warning. What you are about to hear goes against traditional romantic counsel expressed by friends, family, and Instagram memes and quotes. Open-mindedness is advised.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, and welcome to another edition of the Senate Podcast. See, Sean Brent, my crank it early. Yes, sir. Bumbleclad. Yes, sir. Yes. Yep. I am your host, Neil, joined as always my brother from another mother, and your host, Derek.
Yeah.
And together we bring you another edition of the Senate Podcast. How you doing, my brother? What's the story? What's going on?
Oh, man, today's one of them days. A little rough. You get in, but got a little head air for the intro. But took some sun. Didn't even get gym. That's what bad is. So I hear some even biting as you all people will say. Mm-hmm. But I am here. I am ready to soldier on. Some will say do the Lord's work. So yeah, man, let me get to this thing. Let me crank. Whole thing's going on your aim, man.
I am good. I can't complain. Wait, let me hear you again. Speak again. Let me hear you.
Check. 1, 2.
I don't know. Here. I think you might be using your computer audio. I don't know if that's.
Let's see if we can adjust that.
Yeah. In the meantime and in between time, I hope everybody is good. Everybody is all right. We are waiting for Dr. Kerry. Wait. Hold on. We got some movement here. Not saying Dr. Kerry. I don't know if you can hear us. But we are in the crank. Let me try to sort out this behavior here. So I am trying to get to here we go. You get Dr. Kerry.
In the meantime, you can let me know if you're hearing me any clearer.
Got you covered. No, you're sounding sweet. Dr. Kerry, are you with us?
I'm here. Hi.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing you though. Let me hold on. Whoa. You're hearing spirit, but not in body. Let me get you. Hold on a minute. There she is. Let me stand on ceremony. Good night, Dr. Kerry. Fresh from her trip from Mexico.
Hi guys, How are you?
I am well. How you doing? How is life treating you? What's going on?
Life is going along. Had a little bit of a low vibration day today, like Derek was just saying. So just taking it in stride.
What's going on, man? You need to have an intervention. What's going on? What's going on? Why everybody on this low vibration thing, man? It's just midweek madness. Everybody
just midweek madness. Yeah.
Ready for the weekend. Anyhow,
I don't know. I sent you something there, Neil. We get things started with a little bit of dangerousness because, Carrie went on a vacation and she came back. And you see she went to Mexico, so Mexico, rah. So I don't know. We're gonna play a video here. I don't know if this is Carrie involved in this particular situation.
Well, let me get myself first things first. The plug G-Syndicate while I get myself together here.
Yeah, man. G-Syndicate. We will be in Sage Bar tomorrow night. We'll be starting at 9:00. We're gonna be doing music from here in the Caribbean, music from North America, all kind of different styles and stuff like that, with only the human voice. And we're gonna be jamming. We're gonna do 2 sets for you. So come out, check us out. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be great. And big up you guys. Kia Malvin and Mark Brett Hugh. Check us out on at G-Syndicate 6 on everything. That's .com. That's here on YouTube. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even SoundCloud. Check us out. Come through tomorrow night. Say hello. Have a drink. Line. Talk with the men. It can be a time.
Yeah, breeze out. Yeah, man. Check out G-Syndicate. Derek. It's funny. Dr. Kerry was actually thinking about coming to see you guys perform, and she looked at the Christmas tickets and she was like, "Oh God, hot." hot.
Well, hot.
That's a cheap show, man. That's a cheap show.
Because she
comes. The price is hot.
The show cheap is the flights.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Christmas time, man. It's
the flight.
You pay that Christmas price.
Yeah, man. So
you never know, maybe hook shit with the flight.
Flew she out. But let me get Dr. Kerry on screen, man. Dr. Kerry,
we can neither confirm nor deny that this is Dr. Kerry, but one of our contributors, when he saw it, he heard that Dr. Kerry was in Mexico and he was wondering if this was her. So we get this on screen just to kick off the show on the right note,
What?
Ay, no, ¿qué es eso? Ay,
Uy, no, cantemos.
ay, muchachos, ay, qué pesado. Ay,
Y amores, todo lo mismo.
Wow.
Is the same tranquilo?
I was wondering if it's quiero. Te quiero. Te quiero. And the person said it. Te quiero también. So you never know.
Please come
Yeah,
again.
Lord.
Anyhow, we are here. Good night to everybody that's joining us in the Senate. Steve, I see my man Stephen Wu, aka the Bougie Van Man. We got Marlon in the house. What's going on? Jaron, sorry, what's going on? What's going on? Jaron, what's going on? Steve says sounds a bit hollow on my end. Sounds better now. Yeah, we got the sound sorted out. Thank you very much. Philip, what is going on? Shout you out. Cherish is in the building. No. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, you are indeed watching the Senate podcast. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. We do content for you, not only the live streams where we get and we talk the things straight on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. We talk it straight, no dipsy doodling in this space. We are straightforward and to the point here. Some people may be triggered, but that's all right. That's the genesis of good conversation, good, healthy, respectful conversation. So that's all right. And then, of course, we do the Senate shorts. We haven't done any in a little while. But and we are going to get back on track because it is December and we do have a mission. We are committed to you guys. And to be honest, even though my schedule would have changed and I have a day job, that will not stop the grind. I will get back to doing the Senate short simply because I love it, if for nothing else, to just be back in that space again. So look out for the Senate shorts. I don't know if Dr. Kerry got a minute or two to spare afterward. I believe Derek has something in the chamber, depending on, I know Derek said he had a headache, but we'll see how it plays out. You might get something fresh off of the out of the oven tomorrow. But yes, that is the Senate podcast. So please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Share the content. Let me build this community. Let us get this party going and the discussion going. Now, as everybody knows, as I said, every Tuesdays and Thursdays, Derek and I come here. We come on the Senate podcast live streams and we talk the things at 8 p.m. This is no different. Derek would have gone on Facebook to talk about what we'll be talking about tonight. Give us a like and a follow on Facebook, the Senate podcast. Derek is talking about the Cougars Club. Derek, that's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about the Cougars Club, you know.
Yeah.
Is dating an older woman all it's cracked up to be. Boy, oh boy. This is gonna be rambunctious. So yeah, my brother, over to you. I got a little behind the 8 ball because I'm fresh off the boat, literally. And I just got to kind of get myself in order when it comes to the content and everything. That I still got to send everything to Dr. Kerry. So, bear with me, set us up. But, it could take your time. That's all right.
Yeah, no problem, man. And for those of you tuning in, as always, hit the like button. That is the price of admission when you come in the Senate. Just hit the like button for us. We greatly appreciate it. This is episode number 176. We are batting well, much like Australia against the West Indies earlier today. Right? And we try to bring topics that, everybody can kind of relate to, identify with, and, take a little bit of something from it. And again, have that discussion so we can see if we can bridge the divide. It's all about bridging the divide, so we get a little understanding of both sides and everybody have our conversation. And it's always good to have Dr. Kerry on the show to be able to provide a little bit of professional and female contributions and her opinions. So that's always great. And we are here one more time, ready to do this again.
Yes.
So yeah, man, we ready to crank. And one more time, I truly appreciate everybody that comes in and tunes in every week. I know some of you will see us out in public or whatever, and you engage us and say, hey, I really appreciate it. It's helpful. You got a good thing going, keep it going, that kind of thing. And Neil and I, we don't make the money from this. We just come and talk the things. As Neil said, the day we make $1, we robbing somebody.
Yeah, we making that place.
Yeah, we doing it because we like it. We like it, we love it. And that's why we do it. That's why we here, we commit to this, we come every week, we do it. And as always, we're here to generate a little discussion. So buckle in, folks. Here we go.
Rapid.
Strap in. I'm not feeling 100%, but you will get my 100%, right?
Get all of you.
All of me like John Legend, right? Now, when we got into third form at QC, the invitation was extended to us to try out for the school basketball team. See my man anti-social and there, another QC boy, respect. That was my first introduction to basketball under the tutelage of one Dean Squares.
Shout out Dean, boy.
They got Dean. Yeah, that's a big one there.
Yeah.
I remember one Roger Jordan. Shout out Roger. He would watch the show.
Shout out, yeah. Shout out Roger as well.
I remember Roger teaching us to shoot using the word beef, the acronym.
Yep.
And it stood for balance, eyes on the ring, elbow in, follow through. Ironically, it turns out that Roger still can't shoot to this day, but I still appreciate his instruction. Shout out Roger Jordan. Anybody that connects into Roger, you can tell him that I gave him a shout out and a this as usual. Now, when we first started playing, I was mostly a defensive player. So hard, rebound, I hit a shot if and when they got one. And there was a point when it was like height of my powers, I felt like I could guard anyone. But
almost.
Yeah. But through years of practicing and playing, I actually managed to develop decent offensive skills as well. And more people started to entrust me with the decision making for our team. When we go, we play at Les Savon, we play wherever. People would just give me the ball and let me work. You know what I mean? Now, when we were prepping for the Thunder season, my mom brought here yet. So it's me and you. When we were prepping for the Thunder season, I think you had just not too long come back from overseas and you were kind of rounding into shape.
Yeah.
But I was at the peak of my powers. It was balling because I'll be talking. That's just over 10 years ago. So it was 30 a little bit.
Yeah, you was.
I could score on anybody, and I could guard anybody. These days, though, 42, and after the extended break due to COVID, not so much. There's a different level of speed and athleticism in your 20s and 30s. Ipso facto, I no longer attempt to guard anybody more than 10 years my junior. In the immortal words of my principal, Jennifer Hoyt, it's all gracefully surrender the things of youth. And that brings me to tonight's topic. Now, I see a lot of women in our cohort, Neil. I guess Dr. Kerry, you would be in our cohort.
Yeah, I reached the fourth floor. I can be in your cohort.
Yeah.
There you go. Welcome.
I see a lot of women in our cohort making the claim that they're at the age where they can date the dad and the son.
Oh dear.
Very recently, I came across a video of a lady making the claim that she can pull the granddad, the dad, and the grandson. And then because I am who I am, and I don't want you to think that I'm a liar, I'm going to share that video with you guys now. If you could give us first video there, Neil.
All right, let's get it. The first video there, Dr. Kerry. I would have just sent everything to you. So we are going in 3, 2, 1.
You know, it's easy to look good when you're in your 20s, your 30s, maybe even in your 40s. But the real flex is pulling that off when you're in your 50s. But the dopest flex is when the 30s and the 40s are being compared to the 50 and 60-year-olds. Amen?
Amen.
But the dopest flex is when you can still pull in the granddaddy, the daddy, and the grandson.
Hey.
Yeah. So, who's really winning?
Well, I mean, who's winning, sweetheart? Genetics, because them don't let me act like, a common thing out there. 50s and 60-year-olds, they look like you.
Yeah.
We ain't get to that, right? We ain't get to that part.
But I'm not saying it, just saying.
Yeah, I get you. I get you, my brother. Now, when we first started this channel, one source of contention for those who would be our detractors and critics was the fact that men of all ages prefer young, attractive women. That's just a fact. This is a concept that is repeated and reverberates across male-centered channels right here on YouTube. We hear about women hitting the proverbial wall, and some content creators will even put it a bit more crudely and say that men have no use sexually for women after a certain age. Right? I saw she's Lala Anthony coming out the other day and saying she only attracts men of a certain age now. The men seem to be getting younger as she gets older. Now, sexual value and personal value are two very different concepts, and two concepts that women and their advocates and surrogates will try their best to conflate and pretend they don't understand. But we in this space, we initiated, we know better. We've seen situations where men have been shamed and labeled as pedos for wanting younger adult women. We're talking about adult women, right? A lot of people gave us pushback for some of the takes that we had on this particular thing. One lady with whom I had a conversation outside of our Senate chat here on YouTube, in her need to be right, even went as far as to suggest that a woman at 70 had the same sexual value as a woman at 25. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. That was one argument I was not prepared to have, so you kind of just let her talk and enjoy herself, you know? You're the guy that entertains them, me not so much.
No, because I like to, we get with kicks different ways, right? You like the streets. I like people to talk and hang themselves.
I ain't got time for that. Right?
You got just don't. You got
I got hard for that. I'm bigger than me. Now, more mature ladies want us to believe that we're missing out on a fantastic deal by not choosing to be with them. They want us to believe that, much like me, they're that hot free agent, they can guard anybody and nobody can't guard them. But we know this isn't the case. And tonight, folks, your boy, I got the evidence. I've told you divers of times that Black women use social media the most. Now, I'm me talking, speculation, that's me stating a fact. The research is out there. Google it. I've said to you divers of times as well, Black men need to be second on that list because the wealth of insight never runs dry on social media. Go in these streets and you will see how these ladies are processing. So let's have a watch of this video and hear what the same lady who just told us, hey, let me get with you can flex at 50. Let's hear what she has to say right now. This one's a little longer, so settle in and watch this one. Hit the like button as it coming in for us. This is the Senate Podcast here on YouTube. Give us a like, give us a share.
Wait, let me get this one here. So,
This video is for men who are into women over a certain age with a vagina. No offense to the LGBTQ community, but this is definitely something that needs to be disclosed because most of us are learning this thing as we go. Now, hormones shift after we reach a certain age, and I need for you men to understand how and why that happens, all right? So that you can save yourself from the grief or the wrath of a woman who's going through the change. Now, as you can see, I'm in a tank shirt. I had to put this thing on because I was having a hot flash moment, all right? And at that particular moment, I was quite irritated, all right? So those are two things that you need to make yourself aware of because I'm noticing that most men lately are becoming emotionally high maintenance, all right? So I'm going to need you to put that to the side and get some understanding and get the empathy of why a woman is going through what she's going through. And that way you can pick and choose your battles, okay? That's so I done gave you two things, two side effects, two symptoms of when a woman is going through menopause, okay? Hot flashes and mood swings and irritability. The next thing is my hair is starting to shift. It's getting thin. Not so much where I'm going bald headed, but it's thinning out. I used to have long, thick, luxurious hair, but now it's shifting. And now it's starting to affect how I feel about myself, right? But again, it comes with aging. That's why I don't get on that bandwagon with folks saying, oh, age ain't nothing but a number. That's a lie. That is a lie. Now, the other symptom that I'm noticing is weight gain. I've always been into my image when it comes to gaining weight, what I eat, the exercising. So I'm probably more cautious of that now. So I have this gauge. If I see myself gaining 4 pounds over a certain amount of time, 4 to 5 pounds, I start to be more cautious of that and work on that with what I eat and exercising. So yeah. The other thing is, they said that the vagina is supposed to be dry. I wouldn't know that because my libido is low. So I would know. I ain't had nothing in a long time. So yeah. So those are two things. The vagina is supposed to be low and the libido is low. I mean, the vagina is dry and the libido is low. Again, like I said, I wouldn't even know if my vagina is dry because I ain't had none. And then the other thing is these hairs that are growing, these little whiskers in my chin. I'm noticing that. So, yeah. So, yeah, men, I'm going to need for y'all to be a little bit more understanding. Because most problems start with men and women. When it comes to women, most problems start with men. You got the menstrual cycle and you got the menopause.
No.
Just pause for a minute and understand what it's like to be a woman after a certain age once she reaches menopause. That's it. Because I want us all to live in peace and harmony. And I don't want you to read the wrath of a woman once she blacks out and she curses you out because she ain't gonna remember what she said, because that's one of the symptoms. Be easy.
Right. So because I am who I am, right? This is the word I want. Hold on a minute. Because I am who I am, right? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I really hate foolishness and fuckery, and I hate word salads, right? Menopause literally means the end of monthly cycle, the end of month period of menstruation. From the Greek word pausis or pause, and MEN with the little dash on the top of the E, that is called month. That is Latin for month. So that means that the month has paused. That means your monthly cycle has paused. Ain't got a call to do with men. Stop it. Continue, my brother.
I guess she was trying to be funny, but it really was.
I don't know what she was trying to do. So is we fault know that when they got menopause? Anyhow, continue here.
Yeah, I got you covered, my brother. Firstly, I don't want us to believe for a second that when she says that she ain't had none in a little bit, I don't want us to believe that. A lady that looks like that and takes care of herself is getting it from somebody. Let's be real.
Man,
she probably doesn't really want whomever it is that is servicing her. They digress. Secondly, more to your point, O'Neill, what I found fascinating is that somehow this list of problems that she read off became men's fault.
Yeah.
We ain't really gonna do it, but it's men's fault. Watch it, you bring the situation. We ain't gonna do it, but
yeah, it's we fault though.
before. But that's how it goes today in 2022. Blame men for as many things as you can. Now, let's hear this list of side effects of aging, folks, right? And as Neil said, this is you talking about menopause. Please note that women will never allow this list of challenges to impact their relationship with their boss at work, a man about whom they care nothing. Her emotional state will be under control. She will be calm, cool, and collected. She carries herself with composure in her job. But her man at home, whom she claims to love, who provides and cares for her, is who will feel her, as she put it, wrath. You as a man, gentlemen, will have to endure the things mentioned on this list, so pay attention and be guided accordingly. According to this lady, this is not me, this is not Neil, this is not Dr. Kerry. According to this lady here, a man who chooses to engage an older woman will be engaging with this woman's wrath along with hot flashes, mood swings, hair thinning, weight gain, dry stomach, low sex drive, beard growth. Yes, you got a little whiskers coming up, but because I'm who I am, I'm going to call it beard growth. So allow me to ask a question. How many people jumping up and signing up for this here? How many
Shout
people?
out Tanti, Cheryl, sorry.
True, Cheryl. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, Cheryl.
How many people belong into the front line to be with this here? To take up this job, where as Neil would call it. How many people run in and say, yeah, sign me up? I don't know where this thing has come from, Neil, that, you know, it's like, yeah, take me, falls and all. I ain't doing nothing.
As I am.
Yeah, I am going to put the word. We see it in the profiles all the time. People put the words to them and they tell you, like, yeah, you got to take this here.
And that's the thing, you know, it's like you taking, it's like you preempting the excuse. You preempted the bad behavior, right? It's like, yeah, but if you love me, you attack it.
But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. The problem that older women encounter a lot of times isn't even physical attractiveness. That's the problem. When you look at the clips, the lady in both of those clips there just now, he's very attractive, irrespective of the date or her birth certificate. Mm-hmm. But look at the attitude that she's 50 plus. So if she's moving so now, you can imagine her in her hair there when everything was right and tight. Well, no, she wasn't trying to hear nothing from nobody that she didn't think was on her level.
Nothing.
Yeah. Also consider that she takes care of herself. And I need you started to touch on it after the first video. Most women in that age bracket don't look like her.
No.
So you got this lady, yeah, she above average looks. So she coming on and saying, yeah, this is me here. But then you got women that ain't look, you know, like that. I'm telling you, show this me here.
Let me here. You gotta take me flaws and all.
Flaws and all. And there's nothing wrong with that. We can get to that another point in the list, all right? When we check the comment section, Neil, you see a lot of comments from women essentially saying that their man was understanding of their particular set of circumstances, and that was the way the relationship dissolved. A few even suggested that only real men.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. You know, you're going to get it real. That real men talk.
Oh, no.
Only real men would be able to navigate this kind of situation. So let me get a couple of them screenshots up for the people to see that I am not telling any lies. Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody says, thank you for speaking on this. Let me know when you're ready.
You go ahead.
Yeah. My last relationship no longer exists due to the lack of education on this very specific topic. And she responded and said, girl, overlook the insecurity. The huge support and love from the real men from this post overshadow the negativity. Those are the ones we want. Somebody says, sis, this needs to go viral. Real talk with the cute little sprinkling of humor. Love it. And the brain fog line at the end. Boom. It says, thank you for this. Somebody said this needed to be said. I just told my mom that she cheated me out if this knowledge, because cheated me out of this knowledge, because it was never talked about. She and her sister swear they didn't have flashes or mood swings. But I mean, having enough for all three of them. Depression is also a side effect. That's not discussed often. I think society is getting used to aging women looking youthful and are overlooking the fact that the body is still 50 plus. Some things are part of the process, regardless of how well preserved a woman looks. Somebody says, hey, Ro, what's up, love? This can go both ways. Men have that same problem when they go through erectile dysfunction. Same emotions, but a few are ashamed to admit it. I can come to that in a minute. Somebody says losing the sex drive is not cool either, especially when you were on level 10 in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. Somebody says, girl, men go through it too, but they call it dysfunction. And we're supposed to understand that like what they are going through isn't happening. But the first chance they get, they want to call us out. Some men on here get it. Thanks for sharing, sis.
No.
I think we need to push back on that.
Please do.
Because no, men do not. Because men are aware that they can't say anything about these things.
They don't.
Men is just kind of like grin and bear it. I said, well, all right, none for me. Let me keep it trucking, right? So, please don't get me wrong, anybody. I don't want anybody to misconstrue what I'm saying. Please don't get me wrong. I understand, and I'm most certain that most men do as well, that we all change as we age. I posit to you guys that men give way more grace and the empathy that she's asking for than we receive in this regard. Erectile dysfunction is real, and men are shamed constantly for their lack of size and or inability to perform in the bedroom. But here it is, this woman is asking men for grace. Then turn around and insult them at the end. But that's another story in the end, right? We did a review of a very attractive 60-year-old woman who called in on Kendra G's show. And one of her requirements was she wanted consistent and good sex. So for those of you who might have missed that, we have a couple clippings of that for you. Let's check out a bit of that review.
Get it.
I have a video from Kendra G. This one was sent to me. I remember Nicholas sent it to me, so shout out Nicholas. And I think I got it more a couple other times, but I remember Nicholas for sure sent this one to me. So we can check this out, have a listen, and we can come right back. Chop it up, right?
I need partnership. I need somebody who's going to rub my feet and give me great sex and travel with me. And, you know, respect my time, respect my person, respect my home.
Clear said I'm 60, but good sex is still a requirement.
Until I'm dead, yeah.
Until you're dead?
Yeah, girl. Why not? Why not?
Rub her feet, and you have to hit it right. So
yes.
So you would leave me if the sex ain't good?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very serious about that. Very serious about that.
Right. Non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
So how often a week?
3-4 times every day, twice a day. You know.
Then get walking. Yeah, man. No problem with that, and I have no problem in if my girl sound like at her age she ain't teaching nothing. She's 60. She attractive man. She's a good looking. She's a good looking girl. She's a good looking woman at 60. She's a very good looking woman at 60. Right. So let's make no matters. She ain't got a problem trying to find a man. So if you were cutting the cloth the right way, she gonna find another tailor. She gonna find another cloth cutter. So in my opinion, I have no problem with this. You know, for some people, sex is very important. I know there are some people out there that for her, she wants 3-4 times a week. I would fall in that category. I don't know about you, Derek, but I know there are a lot of people, particularly women, that I would have thought to be like, yeah, I could do once a week, twice a month, 3 times a month. You know what I mean? That ain't me. And if that's how you set it up, and you ain't really, it's not gonna work with me. I have no problem with this. My old girl put her cards on the table.
Again, sex is important. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is right up there with air and water. And I used to say with an old man, shut up, prof, my gay prof, right? A Prof is very well into his 70s and still had a very keen interest in sex, right? Prof said all the time, I highly sex, man. I highly sex. I got gay or I got dead. So I can smell like kill me. You know, so shout out my gay Prof. Right?
Wait, Prof still alive?
Oh, Prof is gone on to glory, right?
I hope he went. I hope he went out. With a bang.
Probably did.
Yeah.
So shout out my guy, Prof. A true character. I know was very active well into his 70s until he left this earth, you know. So it's good that girlfriend is, you know, still out there, still looking. As I said, she's an attractive lady, so I'm sure she's not short on offers. But I don't know how I feel about the fact that she's willing to, you know, end the relationship if he says it good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you heard from the old lady there, so sorry.
Come on, no.
I can't bad. You heard from that lady, right? Gentlemen, do not be ashamed, insulted, or guilted into investing in that which you have no interest, or little interest. We heard what old girl had to say. She doesn't want to rub her feet, travel with her. But if you couldn't provide that good steak, don't even bother to apply. At 60 years old. Of course, there was no mention of what the man who was going to be providing his procreation, etc., would be getting. But we know nobody really talks about that kind of things. We ain't really about that, you know, exchange. You probably have to, yeah. The thing is, the man that takes that up will probably have to deal with some of the same challenges the lady in the first video, but highlighted, right? The second. So let's say, for argument's sake, and this is where you can come in, O'Neal, boy, because this is a challenge for you. Let's say, for argument's sake, that the lady in the very first and second video, she was working with got 9,000, right? Hold on. I know this is your real house here now, so go with me, right? And we need an honest response from you. Working with our got 9,000, give you sex on request. Used to cook fairly often. Could you, Neil Hoyt, reconcile being with her for those benefits, given the list that she outlined in the 4-minute video?
No, it all depends on how it manifests itself. No, if she is, you know, like, because let's be honest, right? These things happen, but some people try to have an open dialogue about these things, and some people just don't, like, fly off the handle and act how they want to act and behave how they want to behave. You know what I mean? Like, like, I know some people that may go through these things, but, you know, they would tell you, I'm sorry, or, you know, they would try to temper it, they would try to find a solution, or try to, you know, deal with it as a couple. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you want PEACE. So if she was able to mitigate what she is going through and somehow provide a level of, like, peace, then I ain't got no problem with it. Like, if you just barking off my head and you cursing me and you ain't coming back and saying sorry, that's a problem. If you you know, treating me however you want to treat me and saying we want to treat me, I ain't care what's going on with you. The same way, like, if a man has a bad day, he come home and say, look, why this chicken dry? Like, that ain't gonna work. That's not on the flight. That's disrespect. And at the end of the day, nobody wants to tolerate disrespect. I don't mind you having a bad moment or a series of bad moments, but it can't be consistent one or two. You must have some sort of apology, or you must remorse. You must have some remorse for the words and actions you would have done, right? Like, I ain't got the problem. You come and say, well, you know, I gained through whatever I gained through, bum, ABC, and you deal with it like that. But, I mean, if you look like the woman you 60, look like that woman in the first video, you gave me the God sex on request, and you're cooking good and everything like that. But you cursing me every 2 minutes. You know, you emasculating me whenever you can. And you making me feel unsafe in my space. I know, boy. I know.
Fellas, if you could work with the mood swings and everything for the God 9,000, put that in the chat, put some ones in the chat.
No, if it was that new God 15K, I don't know. Anyhow, that's a joke here. That's a joke here. That's a joke. No, that's a joke. No.
Fellas, you see how he's getting catch?
That's a joke. That's a joke.
Could you reconcile, fellas, not getting some wet stomach? We again and the mood swings in exchange for the
Soggy
God
stomach.
9,000.
A
soggy stomach. Everything's soapy. Yeah. So let me know. Put some words in the chat if you're willing to make that exchange, fellas. Because if you are, or the lady may be out there looking for you, you may be able to entertain her, right? Before I wrap up, I also want us to consider the different material requirements because I didn't get into that. We just dealt with the video and the things that she was talking about from a very personal, physical standpoint, but we didn't get into the material requirements. A lot of older women have for men to even qualify to get access to them, right? The reality is older women got different problems. Sorry, wrong word. Older women have different requirements than younger women. A younger can't be on a cruise. An older lady, you go buy me this car. Younger, yeah. A younger boy dressing me. An older girl is like, hey, bills go pay. I want some groceries or something. And these are things that you gotta navigate as a man, right? So give me that screenshot, Neil. Let's get that on screen.
You good to go.
And it says, dating a woman after 30. Remember we talked about hitting the wall. People say the wall hits at 30. Dating a woman after 30 is miserable. It's just a job interview. What do you do for a living? Where do you live? Do you rent or own? What kind of car do you drive, etc.? These women want to qualify you materialistically to see if you can be their retirement plan. Now, what this here sounds a little rough. Probably is a little extreme. You get the sentiment we're trying to say. Like if it's like, all right, well, I gotta do this with X, Y, Z. And remember when we first started this thing, one of the first things the lady said, the one in the man is a job. And then we come to realize that it's just any job. You got a particular kind of job. You know what I mean? So the questions remain. What does a man get for having to handle, and that's the word they can use here now. Because like to say you can't handle them. For having to handle a woman with this list of problems that the other lady would have highlighted. What does that man get while still trying to attempt to protect, provide, problem solve for, and procreate with her? And are women prepared to give men the same grace for which they're asking? Or must men simply accept the lovely ladies as they are, flaws and all, and be willing to deal with members of the Cougar Club?
Yes, sir, ladies and gentlemen, you are indeed watching the Senate podcast. Please remember, sorry, I didn't switch the thing. Sorry. Please, ladies and gentlemen, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit notification bell so you don't miss anything. Yeah, we are here. We are getting it. I'm going to open up the microphone to Dr. Kerry Ampere as a woman that is a woman and a doctor that is a doctor. I am going to open it to her because she can speak maybe a bit of her experiences, or maybe from a scientific, psychological standpoint, exactly if there's any, not necessarily validity, but is there any proof in this put in? Like, we all know that a woman's body changes more so than a man's body, or in her own way as she gets older. But is that grounds to just say, well, you got to take it, you got to eat it?
So there is personal, very personal experience with kind of body changes, hormonal changes. So I can speak to that. First and foremost, I don't agree with anybody utilizing biology or psychology as an excuse for poor behavior. Right? I don't condone that in any shape or form, especially with the mental health side of things. When people say, oh, well, that child was so severely depressed, they shut up the whole classroom. So just because they were so severely depressed, it's okay.
Yeah.
that they killed all their classmates. Things like those kind of things is a no. So in this context of women being rude and disrespectful and snappy with family, friends, or partners, whoever, the spectrum of people, I do not think is an excuse because of hormonal adjustments and things of that nature. So I will just say that.
Uh-huh.
I will also say that I talk about this a lot with you guys too, the social pressure that women are under, right? Because of the biological side of things. We have a very short window biologically in which we can fulfill all the things that womanhood allows us or enables us to fulfill, right? Having the wonderful body, having the great skin, the hair, the on 10 sex drive, the beautiful children, all of these things that many of us as women experience, but also many of us don't experience as women.
Right.
And the frustration comes because of the social pressure around that. Again, that's one side I want to make sure we acknowledge. I'm sure the women in my fellow cabinet members who are women can relate to the fact that at some point in their life, if not right now, at some point in their life, given age bracket and timing and expectations of society, there's been a pressure like, oh, now is the right time to have children. Now is the right time to get married. Now is the right time for all these things, even when you personally don't necessarily feel it's the right time for you. Society says it should be.
Right.
Mood swings, I have them. I can literally feel myself shifting whenever it's the time of the month. So I understand that frustration too. And it's usually a time where if I am in relationship with someone, I'll let my partner know, like, now is not the time for you to tell me some shit because it's
Yeah,
not
you
going
have
to
to
come out
get it.
right. So it's something I'm aware of, and I've been aware of it for many years. And so I consciously made the effort when in partnership to tell my partner, like, right now is not the time. Or it might be right now is not the time for that, but it's a time for this. Like I really need a lot of comfort physically or emotionally or something else. So I communicate that and I
Right.
encourage people to do that. My mother went through a number of these pieces that the first woman, who I think is fantastic, I think how she broke it down was spot on. I love the sarcasm. I understand that it may come across as insulting when you are thinking through that whole menopause thing, but it's one of our jokes as women that menopause and menstruation are kind of those frustrating points um, in our womanhood. And it just ironically relates to or starts with men. And many of us, not all, but many of
all.
us associate certain tensions or stress as we, with our life as we do with our men. So I see the correlation that she's talking about because it is a long-standing joke on the estrogen spectrum.
Right. Okay.
My mother experienced the mood swings. My mother also experienced the hot flashes. There are other things. The thinning of the hair is very real. Skin texture changes. Sometimes darkening under the eyes happens for women. The weight fluctuation is a mess as well for some women. And I'll say that watching my mother go through her period of menopause was very it was an honor to see that because you see this person gave birth to me, right? So it's almost like you're witnessing a life cycle of her body going through a process that put you into this world. So it was amazing to see. The frustration is that it did come with significant burden in terms of the tensions between her and my dad and the way in which they then shifted communication because my dad isn't very much, he's not that kind of emotionally affectionate person. So when she needed that, he wasn't able to really give that, which is how the snappiness comes in, and that kind of standoffish attitude that some women do display is because of the lack of empathy or emotional reciprocity that they're seeking from their partner that they're not getting, which is why you hear certain lists like what these women are talking about, particularly in that age bracket. I do also want to highlight that so my mom is no longer with us. Um, she passed in 2017. And for those of us who have women in this age bracket in our lives, whether it be us ourselves who may be in the cabinet, our mothers, our aunts, our cousins, our sisters, please pay attention to this stage. The depression is real. My mom went through that, so much so it led to her ignoring certain things because it was hard to articulate really what she was going through at that, in that phase of menopause. And you just kind of, oh, it's menopause, and you kind of try and brush it off and that kind of thing. But you emotionally go through a period of very deep kind of loss. It's a grieving process for some women. And for my mom, compounded by with other issues of toxic workspace and other things, this is when we found out about her cancer diagnosis. So when things that were part of normal menopause window, like spotting, like, yes, it's your period ending. So, you no longer have a regular cycle, but some women do spot at irregular periods.
Right.
We thought that's what it was. Lo and behold, it was actually the cancer.
Right.
She had ovarian and uterine cancer. So please pay attention to the women in your families who are going through this, and support is really my encouragement for this. Particularly us as Caribbean women, you know how much load we take on and how we love to just ignore things and push off. I really encourage us to just pay a little bit more attention to this period of time because it is a grieving period for many of us as women. So I wanted to give that biology side of it and some of that psychological side of it and the personal side of it because it happens. Mood swings happened to me. Depression is something I've experienced, which is why I had to move to Florida because I couldn't deal with the cold weather. So a lot of the symptoms are very real and very commonplace, but when it gets to that phase of life, they're exacerbated because of different social pressures. So that's what I'll say there. Sorry, that was very long, but I had all of that held up. But Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Not hearing you, Neil. You're muted.
Yeah, I mute myself. Sorry. I was waxing poetically. Probably best speech I ever gave just now. But anyhow, let me start again. Right. My little take on it is that as a man, I cannot empathize or even understand what it is like to go through menopause or even a monthly cycle because you your like mentally your mortality is called into question, right? Because you would have lost the ability to do something with your body that you could have done, and it is signifying you getting older, right? So it's like the gears in your head start to tick over, like, well, child, that phase of life done. Can't go back. This is really it. This is coming on to the essentially the end, right? And then of course there is the psychological aspect of it too, where you cannot facilitate a function that you were given in your youth. Like fertility, childbearing, that is all wrapped up in youth, right? Just like virility is in men, just like
Mhm.
strength is in men.
Mhm.
That has gone from you. It's more pronounced with women, I would say, in my opinion, simply because you now are robbed of a function of your body that signifies youth, right? So then your value comes into question as well as a woman. I like the whole. I could go on and go on and go on, but I can't, as a man, I can't relate, right? Because even if
Right.
I say like we start to lose strength, muscle mass, erectile dysfunction, etc., like those are things that can easily be masked by men, or not masked, but more so not shown by men. Like
Mhm.
if I can't live 200 pounds, and like I do that every day, so unless I called upon to move something and I could clean my back or something like that, but I don't have to confront that. If I see a woman now, like Dr. Carey said, Dr. Carey, Alexa wants to let me start a family. No, you are of a certain age and you have a limited amount of time. If I tell you like I definitely want children, then you obviously will feel aware that you are either at a high risk of a failed pregnancy or you are on your way to not being pregnant at all. Right. So that will kind of play on your mind as well. So again, I say all that, say I cannot empathize or understand what that means. Just from my layman's standpoint, call it mansplaining, call it what you want, but it's my opinion, right? That does not give you the right to act poorly.
No,
It-
well, yeah, that was I started
no,
off with
no.
I agree.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I'm not taking away from your points, right? I actually agree with both of you, right? But I want to give it from a man's perspective. Like at the end of the day, as we always say in this space, a man wants PEACE and then PIECE.
Right.
So regardless of if you are young, 20, childbearing hips, you got your whole life ahead of you, you smoking hot. As Derek said, you got the God on point, the sex is there, you're cooking a meal and everything like that, but everything is contention, everything is stress, and you lump it up to having a bad day, or you lump it up to that time of the month, or whatever you lump it up to. That still does not negate the fact that one, you're using an excuse to act poorly. I don't care what the excuse is an excuse, because there are certain ways to treat somebody that you love, that you insane way. They talking about you ain't gonna go work and snap at your boss, as Derek said. Yeah, you coming home to me, you ain't coming home to your boss, but he getting a better treatment than me because he's pay you. You know what I mean? Fundamentally, I am doing more than your boss, right? But I'll say this: I am not saying, because there is a certain latitude that we have to be careful and to acknowledge, because it is not like I'm wholesale saying that if you snap at me, I'm ready to done with this thing, right? Because if you snap at me and I know that, okay, this is not the norm, this kind of out of character or the context, for shoot, carry on, we would have had exchanges before where there were certain, certain things would be out of context for you, and I would say, you sure everything all right? Because this saying really, and you would admit, well, you're feeling kind of funky because of XYZ going on with you hormonally or physically, right?
Right.
Now, I can appreciate that because I know you know me, and we have that space. But to consistently behave badly and then
Right.
locked up, it's that type of month, or that I getting through this thing, that, like I don't have, like, let us be clear, nobody has the latitude to be rude and to be mean to somebody consistently.
Mm-hmm.
I, as a man, I could be working a stressful job. I could be working with explosives in my job. I could be a miner dealing with explosives every day. I underground, dark, hot, steaming, boss down my back because of deadlines. I dealing with hazardous materials, etc. Right? And I come home and I snap at you once, I snap at you twice. I treat you bad. That's emotional abuse, right? Innit?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
So if I'm not allowed to do that, then I ain't taking a bad up either. Again, we're missing the fundamental part of there being a rapport between you and your partner to say, well, this is what is going on with me physically. Right? Just
Right.
like, because, the only equivalent we could quickly come up with is erectile dysfunction. Or if you have a man, you have a partner, and he is having issues in the bedroom. You realize that every time he get on the saddle, he one butt and he out. Right? Now, if you really care about this person, you really love this person, you will ask the question, is everything okay? I notice that this is a trend, especially if it's not something you're accustomed to or was not the norm. You will start to say, is there something wrong? Shoot, you could look it up. You could gain information. You could seek advice from other people. For example, we know erectile dysfunction. Who's a man want to talk, but they can't perform? Who man out there wants to say, I got problems getting it up and keeping it up. Nobody don't want to talk about that, but still, that is something that needs to be said. And we know that stress deals with that, lack of sleep, diet. It could be the cause of something more hazardous to your health and a bigger problem going on in your body. So it's not just like a day, it just ain't get up anymore, dicky dead. Sorry to borrow that phrase, but it's not like that, right? So I just want to say, like, I understand women's body changes and it is a great, because there's nothing, that is what you were put on. That's what we as human beings were put on this earth to do, procreate. To create life, right? To create legacy within our human existence. And to be robbed of that, not say robbed, but to see nature takes its course, and you are stripped of that, that is something that is like almost losing a superpower or a sense. Like when you lost your sight or whatever, right? It's like, it's one thing to have the option and not have a child, or to use the option and have many children, but there's another thing to just not have that option anymore. You understand? And I just want to be very, very clear. We are not speaking against women having outbursts or feeling and experiencing the emotions and the hormones that they go through in these times. We are just saying that, you know what, if we're in a saying together, we are partners, as people like to use that term. If we're in a relationship, work with us. Open those lines of communication, right? Like, I know sometimes we men don't understand things, and we could be tactless, or we could be we could approach a topic kind of insensitively, not necessarily intentionally, right? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you got your period or something like that. Like, I kind of feel like them kind of days, I ain't really hearing that like one time, like once upon a time that used to be a running joke. Shoot, it would
I'll
encounter
tell
that
you,
regular.
the last time we actually heard it from a woman talking to another woman. So I found that interesting,
Oh my. But yeah, so to say that we are here saying, well, shoot, if you going through whatever you going through, shut up and know your place and continue acting like it's normal when you was 20 and think, no, we're not saying that. We're just saying that at the end of the day, one, speak to us. Let us know. It is one thing to come and say, man, look, just letting you know what you're going through, saying, physically, my body is changing. This is what's going on. If the master will, why I'm trying to hear it, just say, look, all right, you ain't got to know the ins and outs, but just know that if now and then I not in the mood for sex, or I just don't feel like talking, or I crying uncontrollably, or I put on weight or anything like that, just understand that this is what it is. Right?
Right. So there is this it's like a double-edged sword, right? Because we are aware that given the expanded virility of men, right? Because men can have good, not necessarily great sex, but they can have pretty good sex, 60s, 70s, 80s, if they take care of themselves, type of thing, and have children, still have children. But with women who are younger, right? So there is a knowledge of, okay, great, I can date or marry, whatever, beyond the age of 50 and still have good sex with a male partner as a woman. However, there are aspects of my identity for some women. There are aspects of my identity that I will never be able to rekindle or honor, especially if it's a woman who's never had children and may had wanted to have children, type of thing. And running the risk of knowing that, okay, I'm with this older guy who's in my bracket, but he's not necessarily interested in me the way he probably is interested in the 30-year-old. And so there is this kind of like, yeah, sure, I can get the granddad, the dad, and the son, and the grandson, or whatever kind of foolishness she was saying in the beginning. But the people who she's talking about, the intention of the grandfather, the intention of the dad, the intention is very different for her than it is for the 25 and the 34-year-old or 40-year-old type of thing. So it sounds like good game, right? Like, yeah, at
It
50, I'm
does.
still snatching all these ranks, but the psychology of the game has switched because now you may be pulling, but the person that you're pulling, their intention isn't necessarily what yours is. The
Mhm.
energy exchange may not be on the same level. It may just be game.
Right. And oh yeah,
And
go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, and so when that other woman was talking about going on cruise and foot rub and all this kind of stuff and still wanting good sex, that's rare to have somebody in that bracket who is in
Really?
that with you and healthy enough to do all those things with you, right? Because my dad is 69 and has had 5 strokes. He ain't doing jack diddly squat,
Yeah.
right? He's lucky to still be alive. So, but at 69, he should still be up and about doing things on his own, and he's not. So, you also have to take that into consideration too, the physical and mental well-being of these people that you want to be hopscotching around with. So,
And your own physical and mental well-being as well, because I mean, do you really want at 60 plus to be out here, in the streets?
right,
Essentially,
that's the next thing.
True, I was 42, but I ain't trying to be in the streets like that. Remember Aston in the host. Good night to you, Aston.
Shout out Aston, shout out Kevin. I saw Kevin too. Thanks for
Yeah.
telling me audio was dropping out. Thank you, Cheryl, for telling me too, and Jerron.
So yeah, I don't think anybody. I think we've done ourselves a grave disservice in terms of the things that we want to put up there for
Yes.
public consumption.
Yes.
We ain't need nobody.
Yes.
This whole self-love thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we could talk about self. Yes, but that's another story. This whole self-love thing, and it is me against the world. And as opposed to saying, well, yeah,
I'm wearing it like a badge of honor.
Yeah, because girlfriend here, we's this thing next to the third. You have to give us grace. All right, yeah, we gotta give you grace, but you can't use them things to hide behind.
No.
To just, as you all guys say, behave poorly.
Yeah.
And I saw Cheryl making the point earlier. She said her experience will not be for every female. Yes, we know that. And she says, furthermore, these symptoms can appear before menopause.
Yeah.
And she said, I feel like she just want an out to do as she like when she like. Thank you, Cheryl, for that comment. And then Cheryl makes the point. To some of you, I said it later, Neil. She says, not necessarily true. I have been ready for menopause since I was like 30. I'm quite ready for all the ish to be over. So I don't feel like any loss of youth or loss of womanhood, etc. And that is a valid point. Oddly enough, men don't see it that way either. We don't see it as a loss of womanhood, unless, of course, you're looking for children and building a family.
Right.
And stuff
It
like
depends on how you interpret it.
right. But so I think it's important that men are able to reinforce something like that for a woman to say, look, this is just another phase of life.
Correct.
I don't see you as any less of a woman because of these things or whatever. But I think the main this whole thing is as Neil said, the dialogue, the communication, and then giving each other a little bit of grace.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I know you're going through this. I here with you, rocking with you. I got your back.
Yeah.
And but the same
Well
token,
said.
men want women to say, well, look, all right, hun, I know you're going through X, Y, Z. I got your back here with you.
Exactly.
As opposed to saying, well, yeah, if I want you to rub my feet and travel with me, and if you can't give me good sex, well, yeah, I'm done with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing, to be able to have that open communication, as you said, Neil. So it's like, well, all right, everything ain't always gonna be hunky dory. Everything ain't gonna be 100%. Because yeah, we might get together and all, we having good sex, but guess what? A stroke could done that.
Yeah.
A bad accident could done that.
Yes, sir.
So the things need to be rooted in more permanent interests
than sex. You know, like, you come and dig me out. Because guess what, man? You're talking about this, the first lady, she's talking about dry vagina and lower sex drive and all that things. So what you gonna compete with here now? As it said the other night, a sandwich beating you. You know what I mean? A sandwich beating you. So there needs to be more discussion and more grace given. I think we gotta be able to say, I got you, you got me, we good. Sex we could work out in the juggling. But if we, a friend of mine is talking to him, and or a school friend of mine, and we met up out to drink and stuff like that a couple of weeks ago. And this is interesting because he is very much a gay guy, married to a man. And we had this conversation. He was saying, you know, one of the things that he found very important was the commitment to the unit. The commitment to the unit, not the commitment to we can have the sex here or we can make a commitment to partying, or the commitment to the unit. So all right, we can do what needs to be done to make it work
in
for the
service
other
of
person.
the relationship. Yeah, in service of the unit.
In service of the relationship, the unit, to ensure that all right, we going forward together. So even if it's a case where it needs to be got that open communication, you come and say to me, listen, I'm feeling a hankering for something strange. How we can make this work? And you do that knowing, well, all right, let's say I give you a hall pass, for example, for you to go and do your thing, you come back, you can do your thing responsibly so that does not impact on the relationship. We can come back to the relationship. You know what I mean? That might be I'm not saying that works for everybody. This is why we open relationship thing, because we've seen Will and Jada, we know how that's played out. But at the end of the day, the commitment to the unit. We can get through, we moving together, we can get through things together, we can come back together. It's not always going to be sunshine and roses. We understand that, we get that. So we understand the mood swings, we understand the hair loss, we understand all of them things. What's the commitment to the unit from both people? There.
Both people.
Right.
Because it can't be like, well, yeah, I here trying to row this boat and you
that don't work.
One side saying don't breathe.
Boy, shout out the president, the 227, the 237 ladies.
One hand can't clap. Retaliation is all the time.
All the time.
Right? So it gotta be a case where we saying we going forward together. We both moving in the same direction, with the same plan, with the same purpose. And then man will discuss, we say, look, all right, that's my wife. That's my wife, that's my girl, that's my personal girl.
Personal girl.
Yeah, personal girl.
I can live with the mood swings. I can live with the way again because this is my personal girl. But that comes with equity, ladies. So if you come and pick up a man today, and in 2 weeks down the road, you start getting the man that man. So without me, if we ain't invested that long, we jump away.
I know you like that.
Yeah, I know you like that. That's come with investment. That's come with equity. If you ain't got that long-standing relationship, you can't get any equity. Sorry.
Yeah. I want. Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
Go ahead, Neil.
Right. I was gonna say, like, on Derek's point, right? I think fundamentally, right, what Derek just said, even though he's speaking to this particular topic, that is essentially, when I think about this channel and I think about a lot of these spaces that men are talking about or stuff like that, red pill and all these things, I think at the end of the day, it is rooted in exactly that. The service of the team, the service of the unit. Because people get married, but women initiating divorce more for various reasons. Right? Men cheating and having extra families, but still came home and still providing and still acting as though this woman is still the queen. Right? So I am not, again, don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm not advocating cheating.
Yeah, please.
Right. I'm not advocating cheating, rather. I am just saying that at the end of the day, the reason why spaces like this exist is because I think it is rooted in the whole notion of relationships and marriage. It is starting to be unbearable for men when it ends, because it's like we feel disposable. We feel as though, women could cast aside as we want, the things that we provide and the things that we do, and the varying degrees of man too. Because let's be honest, not every man can be the same, right? There are different versions and sizes of masculinity, and we feel as though we are being disregarded, especially when we have committed. Now, when men get down on one knee, as women want, and say, "Will you marry me?" Because I had a conversation with Rihanna today. I didn't see her tonight, but Rihanna tonight, she showed me a clip, a video today, and it prompted the discussion we had very briefly on Instagram. And it is like, at the end of the day, men and women, a man will jump through hoops for whatever reason to show that he can provide, protect, problem solve, and procreate to a woman. And the woman ultimately says yes. She ultimately says, "You know what? I am entrusting you with the protection, provision, procreation, and problem solving in life." As much as I understand gender roles aren't a thing and everybody want equality and partnership 50-50 and all that, at the end of the day, the way I see it, when a man courts a woman, carries a woman on dates, etc., all the while he is gauging, is this a woman I am willing to cover under my 4Ps for the rest of life? And the woman saying yes has agreed to saying, I am willing to be covered by your 4Ps and support you in you doing that. That support looks different ways. I ain't gonna use the submission word because that'll get contentious, but it looks however it looks. We call it submission. It could look like something as simple as the woman getting on and work. You know what I'm saying? It may look different to different people, but the point remains is that is what that whole marriage and proposal situation is about. So then when a man proposes to a woman and the woman agrees to that marriage, she is agreeing to spending the rest of the life with that person, right? Now, when you get in those spaces and then you realize, as Derek said, one person carrying their half of the coach, the other person ain't carrying it. Sure, furthermore, in some cases, the other person laying on the coach as you carry, right? Then you start to feel like you're not appreciated, right? So, and data, statistics, conversations, God knows we got a lot of evidence and anecdotal conversations to show that men starting to feel like, we can't say nothing, we can't do nothing. You could treat me however we want, but as soon as you say, but I don't really like him, hush him out in here. Or you're going to get canceled, or you run the risk of emotional abuse, or not taking the person into context and anything like that. But it's supposed to be a union and a partnership. And granted, yes, of course, men don't do things in service to a partnership, a team, a relationship. I ain't saying that men, across the board, we think. I say all the time that men and women are human and we are flawed. We both got a lot to account for when it comes to the degradation of the modern black family. Right? It isn't only on men, this ain't only on women, this is on both people. And it comes down, as Derek perfectly said, to the commitment to the team. And just before I let you go, Carrie, I can just make this last point. Derek and I have played sports in some form or fashion on varying levels since we were in primary school, right? Cricket, football, basketball, volleyball, shoot. I'm sure we try hockey and all. We try everything, right? And sports, a prominent, we've heard it on many levels too, but sports is a very good analogy for life in that it teaches you how to work with other people toward a common goal. Things like discipline, things like loyalty, honesty, transparency, accountability, those things, and selflessness, those things are taught in a team, right? When you look at the most successful Marines and Army forces and stuff like that, they're only as good. There's so many analogies, right? You're only as strong as the weakest link, all of this here, right? So consider that I wish more people would have had the experience to play sports or to really glean the lessons that sports would teach you. Because at the end of the day, right, if me and Derek, we play together many times in many different teams on many various sports. Shoot, we are a team doing this podcast. And at the end of the day, we have to trust each other and we both have to look out for our best interests when we're doing things. Because when the podcast fail, they ain't gonna look at us and Neil forget that podcast. They gonna say Derek they can say them two men ain't know what them doing. When the team fails, shoot, we play with the Thunder. Derek talk about them. We went 1 game out of 9. That team was the worst team. Shoot, they call me the worst team of Barbados history. Right? Ask Derek and me, what you want us to play for that team? What you want to do? Shoot, your mother ask you, where you're breaking out your night rest, gonna play with them. Your girlfriend, your Leno, you coming home sore. You got 40, you got 30 points. You coming home a loss. What was the point of this? Right? But at the end of the day, And they had men on the team that left. They had men on the team that quit after the first set of licks. Men said, we done with that. That's too hot for me. But there and now we were committed to it. We were committed to each other and we were committed to the team. And every time we suited up and every time we jumped ball, we played within service to the win of the team. Because when we won, when we got that one win, that was a team effort. That was everybody.
Box.
Everybody looked good. Shoot, we got
Box.
it recorded. We got it recorded. Right? For
Belfield
prosperity. The Belfield Cup. And everybody.
See my baby
Man,
tricks in here. Yo.
Don't be bad, man. Don't be bad, man. Right?
Man.
But as I was saying, we celebrate the wins. And unfortunately, on our team, there were a lot of finger pointing in the losses. And there and I, we was like, this saying, what's this? Because there and I ain't finger pointing. And we were the eldest statesmen of the team. Along with some other people being finger pointing. We gaming out, we playing, we taking the L and we going home. Right? We would give our points at the end of every game. But that's finger pointing don't solve nobody. As a solution-based person, I working in a job and it's be about solutions. It's all right to gossip and talk about he does this and she does that and you could believe my man or my woman. You could talk, but at the end of the day, how are you solving it? You could vent, however you see to vent, but how are you solving the problems? And that is essentially a long-winded way of saying that is exactly why we started the podcast, because we want to show a mirror to people and bring a level of transparency and accountability to relationships and just say that this flaws and all thing ain't working. This man shutting down and not being emotional ain't working. This man taking it and believing that we could go on and bear the brunt of it and we could go about with lives and get to work and cut the grass and paint the house and mow the lawn and, kick open the door and save you from the barbarian at the gate and women, saying, well, shoot, you got carried on a trip and you got this and that and that. So how is that servicing the team? That's servicing you, not the team. And if you are married or you're in a committed relationship and you've committed to that union and the person, that person should trust you. But you thought about yourself. Wasn't it for me? You stepping out again up for your marriage. You got other children for other women.
And graduate from your marriage.
You graduating for your marriage. Can you imagine there? I tell you, Mala, again, I play with the Lumber Company Lakers. I graduate from the Thunder.
Yeah, man, they been LeBron things.
But hey. Anyhow, Dr. Carey, I'm sorry about my bloviating, but I hope you didn't forget your point.
So it was connected to, you extended Derek's point. It was connected to what Derek was saying earlier about commitment to unit. And what I often say, or say often enough, is the aspect of what I think many people are coming into the space of recognizing as a conscious relationship piece, right? The role that communication plays, but also the role that introspection plays and accountability. And
First words.
right. And I think it's important in the context of what some of the videos that were discussed earlier bring up, in that they show, of course, that the side of women talking about, again, their demands, right? Their truth and how they want X, Y, and Z type of thing. My concern is what men would be saying, right? And not necessarily about as extreme as erectile dysfunction, but men go through hormonal changes too. And yes, the ads for men's hormonal changes look a whole lot sportier and athletic than they do for us as women, talking about hot flashes and misery, right?
Yep.
So even that psychology of that, the way it's marketed and portrayed, is twisted.
Hormonal change is suffering.
Right.
Yeah.
And figuring out how to communicate that side. What is it that, do men want to be rubbing somebody's 60-year-old feet?
Nope.
Right? Some maybe do, and some don't. But hearing the others, always thinking that, okay, when you're hearing this side of the story, what is the other side possibly saying or thinking or doing, or not even aware of? And being conscientious around that. And I think that when Derek was saying about grace, that's what it means to me, is that both sides have to be considered and grace has to be given on both sides, right? Because men go through hormonal changes way before they even get to 50, 60. I have people in my bracket, right? Partners who have some freaking mood swings as well that I've had to deal with, and the fluctuations around that literally cause severe like breakup. Like I couldn't deal. I can't be your girlfriend and your therapist and your best
Yeah.
friend. Like it don't work so.
Can't work so.
It can't. And so those relationships had to end. The other thing I wanted to address were the 4 Ps. And I was talking to my uncle today, one of my uncles today, and he's adamant about the 4 Ps. He is old school. He is on the dime with the 4 Ps. But there comes a point where I had to tell him today that he needs to stop talking to his ex-wife because she's abusive of his 4 Ps. He has 2 children for him. And, he's still taking care of the bills at the house, paying car insurance, doing the duty to the unit, right? Even though the unit is no longer physically under the same roof, he is doing his duty to the unit.
Yeah.
But these women, there are some women out here, not all,
Not
there are
all.
some
Not
women
all, not
out
all, not
here. I have to say, when he was talking to me tonight about it, I was like, Uncle Mike, yo, this is foolishness. Cut she off. Like she needs to just be cut off because she's ungrateful, right? There are women who take advantage of men's 4 Ps, particularly when it's the financial provision,
Yeah.
right? After doing the procreation provision side of things, and exploit it. And I think that is something that can happen in this bracket, as we're talking about cougar clubs as well. That happens. There's a level of potential exploitation that's in there when women demand in the ways that some of these demands are being made. And so again, being conscientious of what these 4 Ps are that you are possibly tapping into, but how you also need to be graceful and honorable of those 4 Ps, regardless of age and stage. And I think that's also something I wanted to shout out and say, because it was ringing as I was thinking about this age bracket, 60s, 70s, and what he said to me today, and how abusive it can be even in that bracket.
Yeah. Well, the main thing there is the vetting process, and men need to do a bit more vetting. One of my favorite content creators is the Crimson Cure. Yeah, the Crimson Cure. Those of you who you would have heard me talk about the Crimson Cure several times. I love watching the Crimson Cure. This is a woman, by the way. For those of you who think certain things about me, the Crimson Cure is a woman, a Muslim woman, and she talks about the situation between a black woman. She talks about the situation between men and women. And she has this thing. She says that men need to have a vetting process.
Yeah.
4 T's. Right? Time, toll, trouble, and threat. Right? So you need to, I've got to find that screenshot for you guys. The time, the toll, the trouble, and threat. The toll being how hard they got to work in terms of providing for you, that kind of thing. The trouble, essentially what kind of troubles you bring to me?
The baggage.
Right. The threat, again, this is problems, physical harm, that kind of thing. And time is spent investing in you and stuff like that. And she made a point in one of the recent streams that time is tied to procreation. Neil made that point earlier tonight, but I didn't want to interrupt him. That men spend time investing in you and trying to figure out if you are worth the procreation, me giving you all my love and all of that kind of thing. The problem is a lot of times now women associate time with provision. So when you associate time with provision, you get tricking. And that's me using a delicate term for what it really is. Because women think that because if I give you my time, you should provide something for me. And we know when you exchange time for money, it's start to get a little, especially when you're talking about sex and things like that. You know,
Right.
there's another word for that, right? Another word.
Mhm.
So I will, and going forward, I must bring that
Yeah.
class. I don't have that right now. But those 4 T's that men use to vet the trouble, the problem solving. How much trouble are you bringing for me to solve?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Well, and
tool,
remember again, Derek, the 4 P's are
4
appropriation, problem solving, and what else?
Yeah, procreation, problem solving, protection, and provision.
Protection. Thank you.
Protection. So when
I
you look
think,
at that, that's what a man is going to do. But he needs to vet those through the
yeah.
time. How much time do I need to invest in you? How much trouble are you? Are you a threat to my safety? Because as the threat now talks about the protection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how much fires they got out when they dealing with you? When they out with
Yep.
you just one MMA, you can go and you can start a fight, and then they go come
This
and
might you can let him man. You can let him man.
use Don
But he
King, you
look at me.
booking me in a fight and I know that about. You know what I mean?
Yo,
That is
that's
the kind of
perfect.
things
Yeah.
that men need to go through. And
Yeah.
I gotta get that graphic for you guys.
Yeah, that would be I think that's a really critical conversation to have, because there's too much time being spent in terms of us as women. There's too much time being spent on just the financial provision, sizing up or assessment of men. And then we when you use the word manipulate, we manipulate procreation to assess provision.
And again, you know what we call that there.
Right. Right. And I think it's important to have that conversation, because it shows us where we're focused. We're doing too much focus on the wrong side of things, so to
Because
speak.
things have become more and more transactional. That's the
Right.
problem.
Right. And then that leads to all of these things that you guys talk about in this space every week. It's literally an imbalance, right? We're not prioritizing the necessary sides of each of these 4 things, the 4 T's or the 4 P's. And then if we do spend time on being critical about them, are we being accountable in our critiques?
Yep.
You know? So I think I'd love to see
Yeah,
that.
definitely. It will search out
Yeah.
for you guys.
Yeah, this is an interesting discussion. Gotta do some housekeeping. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe to the Senate podcast. Most important words I just said is share. I just hope that, I know they can say that Dr. Carey bringing the misogyny down a bit, but no, this is what we talk about all the time. But no, this is a very, very interesting discussion. It is centered around older women dating younger men, and them feeling as if, one, cat luck is dog luck, meaning that the same way we saw these beautiful 50 and 60-year-old women out there that can pull son, dad, and granddad, like every woman got hit like that. When really and truly, they're the exception and not the rule, particularly in the Black community. The second thing is that they kind of wrap up the behaviors, negative behaviors, under the umbrella of hormonal change and body transformation, right? When really and truly nobody don't want bad treatment. So this is insightful stuff. I think that, I always enjoy these conversations. I think that it is very important that people realize what they get into. I think that if you get into a committed relationship with the intent to get married, you gotta really understand what you're getting into to bed with, and you gotta understand. I used to have this conversation with Carrie Ann all the time about these sweet old couples, as I see them on YouTube, talking about being married for 60 and 70 years and talk about how one, and every year you're gonna like them, shoot. But you love them, you're committed, you're dedicated, you're loyal. Like I always talk about the pillars of a healthy relationship. One of them is love, one of them is loyalty, one of them is commitment, duty, honor, respect. The thing about it is you may not always get respect, but you got the other pillars to fall on, unless you really being disrespectful all the time.
Yeah.
You understand? Because then if you're doing one of the things all the time, it may take away and erode from the other pillars. So I think it's important that people start to realize that, relationships are not just this buzzword term expression to have. Like for men, it's not just to be in a relationship to say, well, shoot, I get to get peace when I want, right? And for women, it is not an unlimited second resource or primary resource that you can tap in and go and do what you want. This is a human being that you are partnering with, that you're choosing to be with, and that you have to respect. And if you sit in wedding vows now, they say until death do you part. But if you and she luck out until when they're dead at 100 and 102, enough years, yeah. So, I personally don't believe in divorce unless it is something really detrimental to your person. But we just want people to understand that there is a level of commitment, and with the commitment and the dedication to a relationship, there has to be a level of transparency, accountability, and dare I say submission.
Grace.
All wrapped up around grace. Amen.
Well, since it's 9:36 in Barbados and the rest of Eastern Caribbean, as they said, this is an awesome conversation tonight. I hope that you all guys enjoyed it. We are going to have more of these going forward because I got a doozy. I thought about doing it tonight. I was going to do this and another, the other one that got put down there. So I was going to do two of them tonight, but then when I started to write for this, I discovered, wait a minute, I'm writing more than I anticipated. So then I just kind of put that one aside. So I'll do that another night. I suspect when I start to write, I'll end up writing more. If not, shoot, we'll put something else with it and make it work. But I still have that one about that episode, Physician Heal Thyself. We still got that one to do, Dr. Carrie Ann. So we get to that. I wasn't sure if you were coming on tonight, so anytime I know in advance, I would definitely prep for that.
I won't make a bad mind joke.
I
didn't know she was coming on either.
Yeah. So we got things controlled.
Side eye.
I'm just let everybody know. Do not be blackmailed or extorted. Blackmail and extortion don't work.
You see my man Steve here saying hearing about those 4 P's, it would be interesting to see how each P is weighted as it varies from woman to woman. What you're finding nowadays is that I Carrie Ann would have touched on it a few minutes ago. Everything comes back to I don't want to call it procreation, but it's transactional. Everything comes back to sex. So you little sex, you provide for me. You little sex, you protect me. You little sex, you problem solve for me. You give me you little sex, but you give me little sex procreation. That's how it works. So, right, that's how it's working out. And men are quickly realizing, shoot, anytime we're dealing in sex,
right,
for goods,
that's the sex. Behave yourself.
This is work. This is sex.
It's a sexual trait.
It's a business
transaction.
It's a whole transaction piece, and it takes the accountability off of the woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say it's a tactic, right? It's a weird, and I'm not saying it in a, like, I think it's insidious, the way that this is how we're socialized to play each other and play off of each other. It really is
that is
remarkable.
Fascinating.
It is.
Another time I would like to have a conversation around because that word insidious as a heavy word for the socialization is a heavy word for when we're talking along the lines of socialization. Like, we've all been kind of socialized, especially as Caribbean people, especially as Black people, especially as Westerners. We've all been socialized quite similarly.
Mm-hmm.
Religion, education, the social positioning as a man, as a woman, as a tall man, as a short man, as you know what I mean? Like we've been conditioned, and the word insidious, to what end and why? What's the root cause? That may be a bigger question for us to answer, but to me, I think it's worth the conversation. But anyhow,
you got follow the money.
Yeah, I think it's important to have the conversation, not just for the money piece, but to really think through how we are choosing each other. Right. And then what the expectations are in the choice. Because if I'm choosing you for problem solving, and problem solving means A, B to me, but it means Q and T to you, then damn, what we gonna do, right? Because if it doesn't feel and look like how I need it to feel and look, right? So
permanent interests
I
have to
agree.
match.
Yeah, I agree. It's an important conversation to have. And of course, I don't mean everything is supposed to be A, B, C, D. No. But can we say that it may be A and B for me, QRS for you? Where can we find the middle ground? Do we need time to figure it out for ourselves and then come back to it? Or can we negotiate it now? So I think it's a larger conversation for sure to have, but we're
Right.
For certain.
Before you wrap there, I just want Cheryl made a comment here. Who are these women? Because I so don't know. I don't think like that when it got me confused AF. Now I want to be very clear, right? Because you don't think like that, don't mean that you think like every woman and every woman think like you.
Yeah.
Trust and believe that out here is wild in these streets.
Mm-hmm.
Doing this podcast shows us, because you're not in it. Good night, Tamara. Tamara. Good night, Tamara. But you know, before we did this, you may think that okay, maybe it's not as widespread as you would think. Maybe it is just, exacerbated and exaggerated on the internet. Maybe it's not, whatever, right? But going into the streets and literally going into this whole what you could do for me and me individualism, it really is showing not only from women but from men too, just how jaded, damaged, and the disconnect between men and women. So I want to be very clear, Cheryl, because you don't think like that, because every woman don't think like you and you don't think like every woman. Let me just leave it there, right? So trust and believe, because every woman that's coming here, we get who's these women we're talking about. You know these women. Trust me. Not only that you know
Check
these
your friend
women.
circle.
Yeah, you know
I was
them.
just
You know
about
some
to
of them.
say
You know them, yeah.
women.
You know them. It's just that the tactics, and this is why I use the word manipulation. It's a loaded word, but it's very subtle and real, because the way that I rock and ride with my girlfriends is not the same way I'm rocking and riding with a man that I'm checking. Right?
Amen.
The game is different. Right? And it's not necessarily that
Awesome.
I'm rocking and riding with him in an exploitating type of attempt, but there are certain things that I'm looking for,
expectations,
certain energies that I'm exuding here that I don't necessarily do over here. But some women, it is an actual like exploiting type of process, which is why I use the manipulation. But you know them girls, Cheryl. You know them. You have them somewhere in a friend circle.
Factual.
Yeah. It's good to see you, Ruben.
Shut up, Ruben, man.
Sanity. Yeah.
So much.
Pretty sure she knows at least a couple women who think like that, says antisocial. Yeah. Then you're in your friend circle. You'll be surprised if you sit down and you have a conversation with some of them over, let 2 or 3 drinks pour and decide to talk openly. And you'll be surprised to hear some of the things that you would discover in that interaction. Anyhow, folks, it's 9:44 in Barbados, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. We had a good one. See, we hit the like button one more time for us. We'd appreciate it. Thank you so very much. And Neil and I, we don't make any rules neither does Dr. Kerry, but we just make sure you know how school keeping, you know how the rules, what the rules are. You can ignore reality all you want, but you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. Be the best version of you. For you. We can see you guys again soon. Neil working on some shorts. We can get some shorts for you soon. Believe that. You see the numbers back up for the Rona and things like that. So be careful. Please remember. We can see y'all again soon. Peace. Go for a live stream next week.
Yes, please. Oh, I made a mistake. Bye.